Kakadosh, Boker Or, Beki'im Bahalacha 6, day 58. We are Siman Kuf Samech 160. This is Halacha Kav Gimel, page 144. Okay, what happens if you have a doubt? So if someone has a container of water and he suspects that it has become used water, he may assume that this did not happen, and he may use the water for Netilat Yadayim. If he has other water available, however, obviously it's recommended that he uses the water that is unquestionably fit, right, for the mitzvah. Which means like this. Obviously, if a person has a choice, use water that is 100% not used water. However, though, right, if not, then you have it. So that's what the halacha here states. This is number 94. Maran writes in the Shulchan Aruch that if someone suspects, look at the footnote in 145. Okay, page 145 on the bottom, the footnote. Maran wrote in the Shulchan Aruch that if someone suspects that a container of water has been used and disqualified, he may assume that it did not happen, and the water is still fit for Netilat Yadayim. Since the mitzvah Netilat Yadayim is d'Rabbanan, safek d'Rabbanan lekula. But if someone has other water available, he should use that water, obviously. The Rishon LeZion explained that when other water is available, this case becomes similar to a case where there's a mixture of forbidden and permissible substances, and if one waits passively for the forbidden substance will automatically becomes permissible. In that case, even if the permissible substance is the vast majority of the mixture, the entire mixture remains forbidden in the meantime. The Poskim explained that it would be wrong to purposely rely on the principle of bitul berov, when the entire mixture will become fully permissible with the passage of time. In our case as well, it would be wrong to simply rely on the principle of safek d'Rabbanan lekula when it's just an easy right to use the water that is definitely qualified. Obviously, the Rishon LeZion, page 146 on the footnote, the Rishon LeZion pointed out that Maran seemed to disagree with the poskim in the Kesef Mishneh. This is probably why he wrote first in the Shulchan Aruch that it's permissible to use the suspect water even if other water is available. Even so, it is still best to use the other water. The Bet Yosef ruled that if someone performed the mitzvah with suspected water, it is still recommended to repeat the mitzvah with water that is definitely kosher, rather than rely upon the leniencies, but without saying the bracha, obviously. This is because the punishment for failing to do the mitzvah with Netilat Yadayim is poverty, right? Impoverishment. So the Levush concurred with this, and the Mishabra also cites this recommendation. The Aliyah Rabbah brings down that Rav Shlomo Lulia agreed with this only partially. He ruled that if someone is not sure whether he did the mitzvah Netilat Yadayim or not, he should go ahead and do it in order to avoid the punishment of poverty. If someone has definitely did the Netilat Yadayim, but he suspects that the water was disqualified, however, he does not need to repeat it. In such a case, again, he already did the mitzvah kilu, even though it could have been that it was used water. The Mishabra commented that even the Aliyah Rabbah would agree that if more water is available, one should repeat the mitzvah. The Kaf Chaim pointed out also that since the punishment is for failing is again impoverishment, it's highly recommended to follow the opinion of the Bet Yosef and the Levush that you should do the mitzvah again, meaning like this. A person right now has water. I don't know if this is used water. So, safek d'Rabbanan lekula, I could use it. However, though, if I've got other water that I know 100% that it's not used, so why in the world am I going to start using a safek d'Rabbanan lekula and start to, 1 second, use that one? That's it, especially if, again, it brings impoverishment. Not only that, if I already use this water, and now I have other water available that is 100% not used, do it again without a beracha. In order to make sure that I don't have a problem, again, you have this. This is a general rule. So I'm on the top of page 146 in the English. This is a general rule. Whenever someone has a doubt about the status of his Netilat Yadayim, he may assume that it is valid. In all such cases, he should say the bracha al Netilat Yadayim with the name of Hashem. In this aspect, this case is similar to someone who wishes to perform a mitzvah of the Sefirat HaOmer. Although it might not yet be definitely nighttime, so he's doing it in the middle of Ben Hashmashot. Yeah? So it might not be nighttime. He could still do the mitzvah and even say the bracha. Why? Because maybe it's already nighttime. You're in twilight. Is it safek yom, safek laila? Is it a doubt if it's a day or nighttime? Another example is someone who performs the mitzvah veruvet tavshilin. Baruch Hashem, this Wednesday. Remember, everybody has to do this Wednesday, Eruv Tavshilin. And that Eruv Tavshilin is going to permit you for cooking and preparing from Friday to Shabbat. So it says over here, although, right, he comes and he says like this. He says, Eruv Tavshilin during twilight as Yom Tov begins. You have to do Eruv Tavshilin during the day, because it has to be before Yom Tov. What happens all of a sudden? It's already Shekiyah, sunset, and I forgot to do Eruv Tavshilin. Can I do Eruv Tavshilin during twilight? Yes. Why? Because it's Safek Yom still. I've got a doubt. Maybe it's nighttime. Yeah, but it's a Safek. And I can even make a bracha. Because again, in such a case, I can make a bracha. Although it might not be longer day, he may perform the mitzvah and say the bracha. In both the cases, we're lenient because the doubt involves a drabbanan. And once the halacha permits you to do the mitzvah, so then you could do the bracha as well. If someone has already performed Netilat Yadayim, and now he suspects the water was disqualified, it is recommended to repeat the mitzvah with the water that is definitely fit, in order not to get into the problem of impoverishment, of poverty. However, though, he does not make the bracha again. Okay? Very good.